Gord Singleton began his cycling career in 1975. Just a few years later, he participated in the Commonwealth Games at Edmonton, winning gold and bronze. Gord won the World Championships in 1982, and after his retirement, Gord moved to Niagara Falls and continued his devotion in assisting young riders in the sport of cycling. To honor his legacy, there is an upcoming event called the Gord Singleton Legacy Fun Ride. And joining me in the studio is his son, Chris Singleton. Chris, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Tell me about your dad and what he did to our community.
Well, I don't really know where to start. You know, he was always had a love of being Canadian and from Niagara Falls. That was a giant thing in his life that he loved, and he always remembered his roots of where he came from. No matter where in the world, he always loved wearing the maple leaf on his shoulder and representing Canada and Niagara Falls.
If your dad was here today and we were doing this Legacy Fun Ride, what would he say?
You know, really, he would just want to be in the ride and riding his bike. You know, that's what he loved to do. You know, so many people in Niagara Falls have memories of and stories of always seeing my dad on the road and out there and just riding his bike. That's what he loved to do. And that's kind of the main point of this ride, is just to get the community together and just everyone have fun riding their bike.
Speaking of the bike, it's right here. Look at this thing. We'll get a shot of it. Can you tell me about it? It's just so nostalgic, right?
So this is a track bike, a little different than your road bike. It's a fixed gear, so basically that means as the pedals are turning, the wheel is moving as well. And the biggest thing is actually there's no brakes on it. So
how do you stop?
You kind of just on the velodrome, you'll just kind of ride up the track and gradually slow down, but there is no brake handles on the handlebars to stop you. But track bikes are a pretty simple machine. It's what's raced on the velodrome. That's where he set all his records there.
Now, tell me about this event and this fun ride. How did this all get started? Whose idea was it, all that stuff?
It was a part of a committee. You know, there was a few key members at our Niagara Battery and Tire, the business, and that, you know, have always respected my dad and looked up to him. You know, many people from around the community that wanted to do something in memory of my dad. And, you know, the easiest thing would be to let's just get people out on a bike and have some fun, you know?
Now, where's it taking place? Where are we doing it?
Well, we're going to be starting it out at Fireman's Park. There's going to be 3 different lengths, so to kind of get people of all skill levels involved. It's going to be led by the Amici cycling team, which is one of the cycling teams that my dad helped develop and start in Niagara. And really the key focus there was to teach people how to ride their bike on the road and enjoy it, right? So each ride is going to have ride leaders in the front and the back. No one's going to get dropped. And just go out there and have some fun.
Now, you said riding on the road. Kind of explain that. How do I ride on the road?
Well, just learning, you know, the part of the Amici cycling team and things like that is learning these signs to kind of ride with traffic on the road, right? You know, like we have beautiful parkways here in Niagara, and he had some real nice key routes that I would join him on some of the rides, and we'd go down by the falls, and it was always a nice memory just riding with your dad and, you know, seeing some of the beautiful things that Niagara Falls has to hold.
Now, when you and your dad went on these bike rides, did he wear this? Did he wear that?
Not that one exactly.
No? Okay.
No, so that is actually one of the jerseys that he would have worn probably in the early 1980s when he competed. So that was the Canadian jersey at the time, and actually the first 250 riders are all going to be given a replica jersey of that for joining the ride, and pretty excited to see what it looks like out there, all the riders wearing their Canadian kit.
Where's the money going to?
It is going to be going to Project Share. You know, he's always had a lot of love for helping out charities in the area, and Project Share seems to be the perfect fit.
Now, I'm assuming you're riding as well?
Depending on what I have to do with the organization there, I'd like to get out there on my bike, but I'll bring my bike. I'll be ready to go if needed.
How do people sign up?
We have links on the Niagara Battery and Tire website that can just be accessed through there. There's a link for the Gord Legacy Fun Ride, and just access the link through there.
Okay, now, if you give me some advice for young cyclers, maybe amateur cyclers, you know, in this event, you know, so they don't get kind of discouraged if they have a rider that's maybe taken off or whatever. How do you?
Well, the key thing, we're going to have ride leaders in the front and the back. So the biggest thing we want to stress is it is not a race. And you're only as fast as the slowest rider in the group. So just judge accordingly to the distance you want to go, but bring a bike and a helmet, and be open for suggestions from some of the people that have done it a little bit more, and learn.
Is your dad going to be watching?
I hope so. I think he will be.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Chris. And we'll be thinking of him on June 28th, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.